Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about caches, exactly what caches are, where we can hide them, and what the use cases for them are. What a cache is, if you're going from point A to point B on a regular basis, or you have a location where you're going to end up going to in the eventuality of emergency, you may need supplies while you're on that route. And what a cache is, it's a location where you're going to store some supplies that's not going to be easy for everybody to find. As an example of a cache, what I've done is I've taken a peanut butter jar right here and I've put in a few supplies in it. We'll open it up and see exactly what I have. So what we have inside the peanut butter jar, I've laid everything all out. The first thing that we're going to have is going to be a mylar blanket. That mylar blanket's going to allow us to make a super shelter so that we can stay warm if we need to hike from point A to point B and we're going to be out overnight or out in very bad weather as well. The next thing we're going to have is going to be a landsat compass. That's going to allow us to make sure that we're going in the right direction. We'll include the map of the area that we're in so that we know how to navigate from point A to point B, and if we need to get around obstacles, we'll be able to do that. I don't have that in there right now for operational security. The next item that I'm going to have is going to be a multi-tool. The multi-tool that I'm using for this is going to be a day camping multi-tool. So that's going to have a serrated up blade. It's going to have a small saw. It's going to have a straight edge. And then it's going to have a diamond file and a cross-hatch file as well. Inside we'll have a screwdriver with a removable 1/4-inch bits. We'll have needle nose pliers on the inside. We'll also have a set of scissors. Inside we'll have a 1/4-inch screwdriver, and then we'll have a smaller screwdriver that we can use for tightening glasses. The last thing we're going to have is going to be a can opener. It just took me a second to get that out. And the locks for these, you just push down on the back side, and we'll close that. The next thing I'm going to have is going to be a 25-foot hank of paracord. This is military grade 550 cord with 7 strains inside. Each one of those strains can be taken out and used individually as cordage as well to add to the amount of cordage that we have. The next thing I have in here is going to be a Olight flashlight. I have an i5T ESO, and for the batteries in that, when I put it back in, I'm going to take the batteries out. The next most important thing we're going to have to do is potentially start a fire to make sure that we're able to stay warm. So in our climate, it does get very, very cold. It can go to about minus 30 degrees. So we have a box of matches, and then we have a Bic lighter as well. Food procurement can potentially be extremely important. So we have a set of snare wire so that we can make some snares. If you're lucky, it'll be a multiple use item, allowing you to use it between 2 and 4 times. A lot of times, however, depending on what you catch, you may only get one use out of a snare wire. The last item that we're going to have is a small fishing kit. So I have tarred bank line. So with tarred bank line, you can use that both as rope or as fishing line. I also have a small pen that I cut in half. I put a bunch of fish hooks inside. I put some lead sinkers. I also put some fishing line around the outside. And then I have worms with hooks on them as well. The last thing in here is going to be my yo-yo fishing line. So what this is, it's basically a trap that's used for fish. What you do is you set it at the side of the bank. Once you set it, you have your hook on it. It's in the water with your bait. The fish will pull on it. It'll set that hook. Then you'll be able to come back later on and collect your fish. So now that we know what we're going to be putting inside of our cache, let's work on building the cache itself. Too bad that I didn't have the camera rolling a little earlier. Just as I was coming up the hill here, back in the wood, there was 5 deer right in behind here. Unfortunately, I didn't have my camera out, so I couldn't get it. I just came out to get some birch bark so that we can use that to make caches. So we're going to grab that birch bark right now. We'll go back in the house. We'll make a cache. We'll come back out and we'll hide it. So there's a lot of different things that we can do to conceal our peanut butter jar so that people won't come across it very easily. So one of the easiest things we'd be able to do would be put like a camouflage duct tape on it. Now this is going to certainly help with concealing it. There's also multiple different things that we can kind of do at the same time as well. So for an example, with our camouflage duct tape, we can wrap that all the way around. Now with camouflage duct tape, it'll certainly come in different colors, different patterns. I have some digital pattern duct tape. I have some plain brown duct tape like I have here. We can use one type of duct tape or multiple types of duct tape to help conceal the canister. The other option that we're going to have is we can attach natural materials to it. So I went outside here a few minutes ago and I collected some birch bark. So what I'm going to do to make it a little harder for it to be discovered is I'm going to attach some birch bark onto the outside. Because bank line has tar on it, it sticks to itself. You don't even quite need to tie a knot, and it'll stay closed and hold. Alright guys, just to give you an idea how hard it can be to actually find a cache. Now I can see the cache just because I know what I'm looking for, and I've just put it there. However, if you didn't know what it was, or that it was going to be there, or I spent a little more time concealing it, this would be extremely difficult for anyone to find. I've had geocaches where I spent over an hour looking, or I've not found geocaches at times and had to come back multiple days before I've been able to find them. Pretty straightforward. We just kind of stuck it into the tree, and that's going to have all of our supplies in. Now, where I live, I can certainly put it in a smaller tree like this, where it's going to be high enough off the ground that it's not going to get filled with snow and it's still going to be able to be found. However, on something like this, if I hit it here, the container itself would potentially get frozen there and I might not be able to rescue the container. A better option for my area, because we do get up to about 3 feet of snow, would be to put it higher up in a tree. If we look right up here, we're going to have that V-notch in the tree. That'd be a really good spot to put that cache to make it almost be invisible. It's going to be above your sight line. So typically things that are above your sight line, you're not going to look at or to notice. Another thing that you need to keep in mind with any kind of a cache that you're hiding out there, how are you going to find it again? Are you going to be carrying a GPS with you? Are you going to put the coordinates of each one of those caches inside your phone? One last thing before we go, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Press the bell notification so that you're notified every time that we drop a video.